If I said eat packing peanuts and drink battery acid and you'll be thin and healthy, the internet would tell me, shut up, fatty, what do you know about health? What's funny is if I became a skinny legend and gave the same advice, only this time saying I lost 50 pounds on that insane diet, a few people would start ordering packing peanuts by the truckload and making Duracell smoothies in their NutriBullet blender. I am being hyperbolic, but only slightly, as some of these internet fad diets are insane, with the latest being the carnivore diet. When I think of the word carnivore, I think of large wildcats, birds of prey, and the occasional dinosaur, but I have never envisioned people as carnivorous by nature. However, the idea that humans are carnivorous is a vital part of the rationale for the carnivore diet. It was popularized by a book written by Dr. Sean Baker in 2018, which I had the pleasure of spending $10 on. He's an orthopedic surgeon who dabbles in nutritional anthropology. Dr. Baker claims that our ancestors evolved to eat meat because it was the most convenient food source back when, quote, cavemen roamed the earth hunting mastodons. His argument is, in summation, that large animals, including mastodons, easily provided all the calories early humans needed and was a better food source than berries, tubers, or leaves. You know, the 3 plants in existence in whatever year BCE. I'm leaving out a lot of spurious correlations that he peppers in there to bolster his argument, but in general, it makes zero sense. As Dr. Baker says himself, we do not have a time machine to know precisely what our ancestors ate, but we can do a little bit of a better job figuring it out. Baker has to artificially limit the diet options of the caveman he envisions for his speculation to be plausible, attributing the genesis of the entire human diet to a specific era and area of the world where humans hunted large mammals for food. When you consider the tens of thousands of years of human history and entire continents with varied ecosystems which he leaves out of his argument, things fall apart entirely. It's self-evident that hunting a mastodon for calories is better than eating leaves, berries, and tubers. But what about legumes and nuts? These are the primary sources of calories for many modern hunter-gatherer societies, where such plants are abundant and easier to access than big game. Last I checked, a mongongo tree puts up less of a fight than a literal mastodon. Yet despite that fact, Baker claims plucking a few nuts in arm's reach from a tree takes more effort than hunting big game by an order of magnitude. The lack of concrete evidence that humans are most adapted to eating meat as our primary food source makes Baker's dietary suggestions seem less like a return to ancestral ways of eating and more like a modern fad diet. It is inevitable that, in a matter of years, not decades, another diet will overshadow the carnivore diet in popularity. Dr. Baker's book will collect dust next to the Atkins diet, the paleo diet, and other instruction manuals on how to be skinny and cure diseases by eating certain foods. The book is already 5 years old and is not central to the buzz surrounding the diet, as it has taken on a life of its own. As Baker said himself, via the power of the internet, we no longer have to rely on the powers that be to tell us what research suggests we should do. Considering that doctors like Baker aren't center stage anymore in these diet discussions, I wholeheartedly agree. Now we are more inclined to believe dietary advice from people with zero medical training. Random influencers. There are many carnivore diet influencers on every social media platform. From the handful of videos I have watched, I discovered that carnivore diet content follows a familiar structure. Let's watch a video made by Laura Spath, a popular creator here on YouTube, who has amassed over 300,000 subscribers detailing how she lost 120 pounds on a carnivore diet, and try and decipher why these videos are so impactful.
Here's what I eat in a day to maintain a 100-pound weight loss on a carnivore diet. I started the day off just by having some water and some unflavored electrolytes. Since I didn't go to the gym and I like to incorporate some intermittent fasting, I just drank those while I was getting ready this morning and skipped having food for breakfast. We had a big family lunch with lots of things on the grill, and I had a 10-ounce chuck eye steak with lots of butter and salt and a 6-ounce pork chop with Parmesan cheese on top. As I headed back to my office to get back to work, I grabbed a slice of Tillamook cheese for dessert. For dinner, I just grabbed some meatballs from the freezer and put them in the air fryer, and that's everything I ate today.
Fad diet content starts by earning the viewer's trust and telling them why they should pay attention. Credibility is established by saying either, I'm a doctor or dietary professional, or, more commonly, I lost a great deal of weight on this diet. In this case, Laura establishes that she lost 120 pounds on the carnivore diet, so you should watch the rest of her video. Logically, pointing to your credentials is more important than recanting your personal experience with a particular diet. Research will always carry more weight compared to anecdotal personal account. However, stating that you had lost 100 pounds on a given diet can be a more compelling story. Often, that's a viewer's only goal. They don't care about research showing that the diet in question can have detrimental health consequences. They want to shed pounds fast. Despite the video's framing that this carnivore diet is focused on weight loss or maintaining a certain weight, some aspects of her diet have been shown to have little impact on weight gain or loss. For example, she drinks only water for breakfast, for no reason other than trying to incorporate another fad diet called intermittent fasting. Modern research has given us a clear picture of whether skipping breakfast results in weight gain or loss, and the answer is it doesn't matter. It's clear to me that many influencers are eating to follow their diets, not to be sated or even lose weight. They've prescribed themselves strict dietary regimens they think will work for them and stick to them no matter what. I assume some of these influencers have to be hungry if they go through 6 hours of activity without eating, and in that case, they're making themselves uncomfortable for nothing. Or even worse, making themselves uncomfortable for the sake of telling their YouTube viewers that they did the smart thing of incorporating intermittent fasting into their day. Every influencer's content is different in the way they sell their diet and access to their exclusive communities at Lord knows what cost. But what's striking to me about carnivore diet content is the simplicity of the diet. It's self-explanatory. To follow it, you must eat only meat and a handful of other food. Laura Spath's video is almost comical as she reaches around in her giant freezer filled with massive quantities of frosty animal flesh to pull out a pack of bacon meatballs, which made up the entirety of her dinner. Like, no spaghetti or sauce? While Laura Spath's content is geared toward women, I find that the carnivore diet content geared toward men is presented very differently. The incel whisperer Jordan Peterson and those podcast bros who platform him put the carnivore diet on the map, not wellness influencers who make content geared toward women. As everything is gendered in the Western world, carnivorism is very male-coded. The carnivore diet may be attractive to men who desire to eat like a hulking masculine caveman allegedly did 13,000 years ago. Instead of a focus on weight loss, there's more of an appeal to curing diseases and being a healthy Chad, goals that are less associated with vanity and therefore more socially acceptable for young men to have. The carnivore diet has attracted a whole community of people who strictly follow it. The public Facebook group Carnivore Diet for Beginners has a total membership of over 100,000 people. There's a private Facebook group of the same name that has even more members. When I start seeing communities of people online congregating together who all share beliefs that may be harmful to people's health and are not rooted in science, I get really concerned, as other, even more concerning ideas tend to spread about in these communities. The private Facebook group for the carnivore diet literally has to spell out in it that you can't post things related to vaccination or political content, because I'm sure they have to filter out a lot of that garbage to keep the group from developing into insane conspiracies. Even though these groups do their best to moderate the content posted in them, you regularly see posts about the food in grocery stores giving you cancer and other stuff that may not be an explicit conspiracy theory, but feel like they may lead people down that pipeline. Taking that as you will, the diet itself is insane. And I mean health-wise, not in the fact that people are waking up and eating a slab of meat coated in butter first thing in the morning. It doesn't take a doctor to tell you that it's going to raise your cholesterol through the roof, give you kidney stones, and potentially lead later on to osteoporosis and other long-term health consequences. The influencers who claim to be healthy on the carnivore diet are healthy despite their diet, not because of it. However, you may lose weight in the short term as your body responds to this change in the distribution of macronutrients in your diet. The funny part is, if you're going on a carnivore diet, You may not even lose weight. A video topic I see again and again is weight gain while on the carnivore diet, and it's no wonder why many people experience it. If you, gram for gram, replace the amount of food you eat by weight in a balanced diet with bacon and meatballs, you are consuming many more calories despite eating the same amount of food. Therefore, being on the carnivore diet involves restrictive eating, not just eating meat if you want to lose weight. You end up on a diet where you have to count your calories and eat a handful of greasy hunks of meat, and to be honest, it sounds miserable. Besides the carnivore diet being bad for you, meat isn't cheap. It's hilarious that this fact is described as a myth in many carnivore diet circles and blog posts. Even the most affordable steak is 5 times more expensive than a calorie-dense grain like rice per pound. And when you look at the price per 100 calories, it makes even less sense to eat only meat if you're on a budget. Beyond just the financial implications of eating only meat, if we all switch to a diet of chowing down on steak instead of eating our fruits, veggies, and grains, it would be detrimental to the environment and entirely unsustainable. This is due to the land use, water use, and emissions associated with producing meat. Unfortunately, the Venn diagram of people who don't believe in such environmental effects and those on a carnivore diet is a circle. In this respect, it feels almost like they're being malicious to Mother Earth. These pictures of people's meals on the carnivore diet give me the same vibe as that one family in that College Humor video many years ago, gathered around the dinner table eating polar bear steak.
Nancy, this polar bear you killed is delicious. You can barely taste the oil.
I guess life imitates art. Anyways, I'm Robert Tolpe, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye!